If you want, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my top 5 best books that I've read during the summer, so June, July, August. This time it's a little weird because I usually don't do my wrap-up back-to-back like I had to do because of my surgery, but I think it was an overwhelming amount of reviews all in one go. I think it's like 30 books or something, so I thought doing a top 5, it's going to be useful to kind of let you know which books were really worth it, the ones I would recommend the most, but I like to do them kind of seasonally. So for summer, these were the 5 best books that I read. In no particular order, I'm going to start with the one that tortured me the most. A Little Life. I need to put trigger warnings for everything, pretty much. In this book, you're following 4 friends that meet during university, and you see basically their lives, their friendship, the ups, the downs, and there is so much that happens in there. And you see some of their childhood, especially Jude, who, my god, my poor little heart. I highly recommend this if you're looking for, I believe this is categorized as literary fiction. If you like character-driven stories and you don't mind being completely heartbroken. I've been calling this torture porn because a lot of people will not like it because at one point you feel like, stop, enough, like can everything go more wrong for people? So it's not a spoiler, it's definitely something that is well known at this point. But yeah, let me tell you, it took me a week to read the last 100 pages because I would read 10-20 pages, put it down, and I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't. And I do not cry easily reading a book. Like, you know, sometimes maybe, you know, a little misty in the eye or something, but this one I was literally bawling at the end. So yeah, amazing characters. You get so attached to them. I absolutely loved, what's his name? Willem. Oh my god, Willem. And obviously Jude, completely heartbroken. You're gonna love them, you're gonna hate them, and it's a must. Like, if you obviously don't mind all the triggers, amazing books that will stay with you forever. I completely understand why this book is on so many lists of like best book that I've ever read type of thing, things to read once in your life. Amazing, amazing. It's a big book, but absolutely worth it. I'm sure a lot of you will also struggle to read the last couple pages because apparently I'm not alone here, but yeah, I'm still not over it. I'm like not wanting to talk about it, especially again the ending, even with someone that has read it, because I can't take it. Like, I have to like block it out. So you need to read this. It's amazing. Absolutely one of the best books that I've read this year. Let's go with something that I've been calling the sci-fi A Little Life. Because damn it, my poor heart. The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. This is a first contact with aliens sci-fi. And again, there's obviously a few trigger warnings. There are a lot of emotions in here, and it's kind of hard to explain without spoiling it because once again, it is a character-driven story. Essentially, you're following a expedition of people sent to investigate. There's like a signal in space on a different planet, so basically aliens. So they are sent to make contact and everything. However, the nice twist to it is the fact that one of the people that goes there / the people behind the whole expedition are at Jesuit, I can't say it in English, basically a religious organization, which I feel like every time I read about a sci-fi, especially first contact with aliens, the religious people will be the one bashing, you know, the aliens, wanting them dead, wanting to, you know, be the only ones that matter in like God's eyes and everything. So that was an interesting twist that they weren't like that. Also, one thing you need to know is that the priest that is sent is the only person that makes it back to Earth. So everyone wants to know what the hell happened to everyone else, what happened there, and he seemed to have went through so much trauma and he just doesn't want to tell his story, and there's a lot of back and forth between the present tense while he's, you know, not really wanting to say what happened, the past during his childhood, and then while he's over there. So if you're someone that really enjoys like anthropology, for example, and you want to get into sci-fi, I really recommend this. This was amazing, and it will definitely be also something that gets to stay with me forever. It was a really, really nice first contact with aliens, which is one of my favorite tropes, so I've read a few, and this one is definitely good. Speaking of which, another sci-fi first contact with aliens. Spin, which I don't hear a lot of people mention, like ever. This is by Robert Charles Wilson. This is, again, kind of complicated to explain. Sci-fi will be like that, huh? You follow the story of 3 children, which 2 are siblings, 1 is an almost sibling. They're very close since childhood. And one day when they are looking at the stars outside, they completely disappear, and it affects, obviously, their whole life and humanity in general, too. I never know how much to say about it, but what I'm going to say is not considered a spoiler, at least not in my opinion. Basically, like I said, it affects their whole life. So one of them, the girl, becomes very, very religious, very against all of it. One of them is trying to figure out what happened, because they kind of figure out that it's something hiding the stars from them, and time is happening much faster outside of said bubble. And if you know anything about science, the sun, there's a limit of time that, you know, it can be viable for us. So there's like billions of years that are happening really, really fast, and it's very scary for humans because what will happen to them. And then the third one is kind of a doctor, and he's not really as connected to, you know, reacting to the star thing. Anyway, I'm gonna end this here for any of the information, because I think if you go into it mostly blind, it's better. Essentially, it's also a first contact with alien that is character driven, which I feel like I never get to read those, and reading 2 pretty much in a row that are also amazing was really, really great. So this one is technically part of a series. I believe there are 3 books, but I am reading it as a standalone. You can totally do that, because I believe the reviews of the 2 other ones are lower, and I do not want to ruin it for myself because I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of also back and forth timeline wise with this one, so it gets a little confusing sometimes, but I really enjoyed it too, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for more, and if that sounds interesting. There is so much more, but again, I don't want to say anything that would be considered spoilers. So obviously, God's Grave is going to be here. This is by Jay Kristoff. This is the 2nd book in the Nevernight series. I read Nevernight earlier this year, and I have read the last book, which was Dark Dawn. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Dark Dawn, I will consider it a special mention, but between the 2, I think book 2 is the best one. I think between the 3 of them, the first one is the best one, but it's because I'm very biased here. The first one contains like a school setting, which, yes, always going to win. Essentially, the story, you're following Mia, and her family is murdered, and she wants to get her revenge against these 3 very powerful men. And in order to be able to do that, she goes to an assassin school where she will learn, you know, poison, how to fight, magic. The world is very, very complex but interesting. Same thing with the characters. There are so many, you get really attached to them. And the first book is very intense, and then the 2nd book happens and things are not less intense. Obviously spoiler free, but I have been calling this fantasy gladiator on crack, kinda. Basically a lot of fighting in here. I really love the magic system in here, very interested by it. You kind of get to see more, mostly in the 3rd book. The ending, I feel like, will divide the fans, but overall I think it's a fantastic adult fantasy series. I definitely recommend you check it out if you are on the lookout for one, because very, very good. Definitely one of my favorites. Will make it to my best of the year. I also wanted to give a shout out to 2 more books. There is The Dragon Republic, which is the 2nd book after the Puppy War. I don't have a physical copy of it, but this was really good. I am obsessed with that magic system and the world building, and I feel like 2nd book you get to see so much more of the world, and there's kind of a like intriguing twist starting to happen, and you're wondering where that's gonna go. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait for the 3rd book for a year or 2, I think, which is sad, but I definitely think it was good too. I feel like, again, the book is kind of dividing people. People either really love it or they really don't connect, but another amazing adult fantasy in my opinion. Definitely recommend it, definitely enjoyed it. My poor little heart. Lastly, I wanted to give another shout out. It's not really a top 5 at this point, but who cares, right? The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I haven't really talked about it yet, so I'm kind of giving you something that you will see in the future. But I did finish it for a reading vlog that's coming up, and I'm not okay. I am not okay. It's basically a retelling of Achilles, and basically his love story with Patroclus. I'm not even gonna say anything. It's good. Historical fiction. No, fantasy, sorry. I always want to put it in historical fiction. I know it's not true, but kind of what it is for me. Yeah, I did listen to it as an audiobook partially. I read the physical book first half, and then the audiobook for the second half. Definitely would recommend it either way. And it's fantastic. My poor little heart, once again. I have had a lot of emotions this summer, clearly. We're going to blame it on this. But yes, those were my best books, because I was going to say top 5. Not really top 5. Top 8? 7? I can't count. I definitely recommend these books if they are sounding appealing to you. Please let me know in the comment section the best books you have read this summer, or if you have read any of these and how you felt about them, so we can just gush, or you can bash them and I'll cry a little inside. It's up to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, because you definitely don't want to miss any future videos coming up. I will be actually putting some on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I shall see you in an upcoming video very soon. Bye.